Hello, welcome to Little Moon Yoga. Today I have for you a 10-minute hip opening flow. So if you haven't already, come join me sat on the mat with your legs crossed, spine nice and tall, and a slight tuck in the chin, placing the hands on the knees or together in the lap and closing the eyes. Bringing your awareness inwards to your breath. We're just observing the natural rhythm here. We're not forcing or judging or trying to make our breath move in a certain way. We're just becoming present with our breath and bringing ourselves into the present moment, preparing our bodies for a good stretch. Then draw the hands in prayer and towards the chest, bow the head down and gently open the eyes. Then find your way into a tabletop position. Spread the knees wide as the mat and sink the hips down towards the heel, lengthening the arms in front of you for a wide-legged child's pose. And we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Just to gently start the hip opening process for this little sequence today. Then inhaling, pressing the palms into the mat, come back up onto all fours. And then tucking the toes underneath, taking the hips back and up into a downward facing dog. And you can stretch it out, take your dog for a walk by paddling the feet, or you can have a generous bend in the knees to deepen that stretch in the back. Otherwise, we can lengthen through the legs and reach the heels down towards the mat. Then inhaling, lifting the left foot and stepping it between the hands, and then gently dropping that back knee down. We can place a pillow under that knee if we experience pain and discomfort. Then lifting ourselves up, drawing the ribs and belly in, shoulders are on the back, and exhale, gently sink into the hips. Making sure that front knee is in line with the ankle. And pressing the top of the back foot into the mat. Then place the right hand down and inhale, windmill the left hand over, reaching for that back foot. This can be quite an intense stretch in the quads, so maybe you need to grab hold of a belt or a strap. That's absolutely fine. Then exhaling, windmill that hand back down, and then inhale, take the hips back until that front leg is extended fully in front for our half split pose. Keeping the chest nice and open, perhaps we grab onto some blocks so that we have a nice flat back and to help keep that nice open chest. You may find that using blocks actually helps deepen the stretch in the hamstrings for you. But find your edge. Find what works for you in this pose. Then exhale, sink back into the hips, tuck the back toe under and step it back into our downwards facing dog. We're going to do the same on the other side. So inhaling and exhaling, stretching out the legs. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands and then drop the left knee down on the mat, untucking those toes. And again, lifting yourself up, drawing in the ribs and opening up the chest. We can place the hands on tops of the knees for stability. And breathe. Then placing the left hand down on the mat and windmilling the right arm round and reaching for that back foot. Again, it can be an intense stretch for the quads and hips, so we can place a pillow under that knee or use a strap to help reach the back foot. Exhale, windmill that right arm down, and then inhale, take the hips back until that front leg is nice and extended. Again, you can grab onto your blocks here if you needed them on the other side to help balance it out. And you can play with the pose, try and find what feels good for you in this pose to help make it more accessible or feel better for you. Then sinking back into the hips, tucking the back toe under and taking it back into your downward facing dog. Take a moment to stretch the legs out. And then inhaling, slowly walk the feet towards the hands. You can have a very generous bend in the knees. Fold forwards and then inhale, slowly rolling up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming up to standing. And then we'll take our feet just wider than hip width apart with the toes pointing out towards the corners of the mat. And then exhale, we'll gently sink the hips down, coming into our Malasana Pose. Or Yogi Squat. Again, you can grab blocks here if you can't quite sink your hips down to the floor. You can prop yourself up with some blocks to help give your hips some height. And just take the pressure off the knees as well. Find what works for you here. Wherever we are, keep the chest nice and open. Shoulders pulled down on the back. And you can maybe sway side to side to open up the hips a little bit more. Then exhale, gently drop back to sitting on your butt and draw the soles of the feet together and bring the heels in towards the pelvis as close as you can. Inhale, extending the spine, and then exhale, tuck the chin and slowly roll down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, folding it forwards into our bound angle pose. To stretch the inner thighs here. Inhaling, slowly rolling up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then we can use our hands to guide the knees back together. And then we're just going to swivel it round so you can see me from the other side. Inhale, I'll bend the left leg. Take that left foot over the right knee. And then try, if we can, hook that left foot round to the hip, right hip. And then again for the right leg as well. So we come into our cow face pose. Extending the arms out to the side and crossing the right arm over the top, left arm over the top. If we can't quite bind the hands together, we can bring the backs of the palms together or even just squeeze the elbows and palms together. And again, staying with our breath, breathing nice and deep. Exhale, release, and then again use your hands to gently unbind the legs, and we'll do the same on the other side. So inhaling, bending the right knee, taking it over the left, and then hooking it round to that hip. And then doing the same with the left leg, hooking that heel round to the right hip. Then we extend the arms out to the sides, and then exhale, crossing the right arm over the top, and binding the arms together. Or using the modifications that I have already offered. Again, staying with our breath, breathing nice and deep. Then exhale, gently release. Again, help unbind your legs with your hands. Come back into our cross-legged position. Again, with a nice tall spine, slight tuck in the chin, and placing the hands on the knees or together in the lap for our final closing meditation. So we'll just bring our awareness back to our breath, and again just observing the natural rhythm. Do you notice any changes in your breath after this little flow? Then drawing the hands in prayer in front of the chest, bowing the head down, and then gently opening the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me